Welcome, students, to English 110 for summer 2018. I am Mary Beth Perdomo, your instructor. Feel free to just call me Mary Beth when you email me. I'm not very formal. So, right now, what we're going to do is the course navigation. I'm going to walk you guys through how to get around the Learn page and sort of how to get through things. So, right now, we're at the course dashboard, which is right here, this first link. The course dashboard is pretty much the first thing that pops up when you enter into the course. The next big thing is the Start Here button. This one here kind of takes you to the big information. So over here you see my name, my office hours, and email. I also put my office just in case there was any time that somebody wanted to meet face to face for whatever reason, and they wanted to do that. I'm also available for video conferencing if that is something you prefer to do. Over here, we also have the eComp administrator. His name, Dr. Tiffany Burrell. Basically, she is sort of my supervisor. So if you guys find that you have a problem with something that I've done, you're not very satisfied with, whatever, you can contact her and she will talk with me. And so essentially she's the safe person to go to if you for whatever reason you don't feel comfortable with me. However, I hope that all of you do feel comfortable with me and that we have a great semester. So the first thing you're going to do when, on the very first day is click on the Start Here. Now, the Start Here sort of walks you through this really big checklist of things to do. So you're going to read through this English syllabus. The syllabus is also available over here on the sidebar. You're going to look through the schedule, again, also over here. The schedule is on a Google Docs, so I want you to know that it can be subject to change if something's going on. So, yeah. And then you have the Getting Started quiz, which is something you take after everything. And that's just to ensure that you've actually sort of read through and watched all the videos. So this is going to be the first place you go to when you're first starting the course. So then after the Start Here, we get right into Project 1. So the way that I have every project set up is you have the course objective and the student learning outcomes that you will be learning for that specific project. So for Project 1, we have these student learning outcomes. There are actually more weeks, but I sort of put them on a adaptive release, which means that Sunday at 5 p.m. of the beginning week, you guys are the folder is going to become available for you to click on. So next week, Sunday, week 2 will become available at 5 p.m. And this is just because I don't want people to get ahead. I don't want you to get the impression that this is a sort of at your own pace course. This isn't an at your own pace course. This is very much a we have deadlines. I want to make sure everybody is on the same page kind of thing. So when you click on week 1, right away you're seeing the syllabus again. I just have it here available just because it is really important. I want to make sure you guys read through it and read through it carefully. Since this is an online course and since this is a summer 8-week, think of it as like a crash course kind of thing, we're going to be moving pretty quickly. So I want to make sure that as we're moving, you guys are keeping up and that you're checking in every week, every day. Because the policy officially states that if you miss more than 2 weeks, I do have the ability to drop you. So if you don't check in, which I'm able to see when you actually log in. So if you don't check in, and I see that you haven't checked in for 2 weeks, I can drop you. If you haven't submitted anything, so you've been logging in, I see that you're logging in every week, but you're not submitting materials and it's past the 2-week mark, I can also drop you. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. should also be aware, since this is an online class, there's going to be some technical requirements, web conferencing, the textbook that's required is Writing Today, the expectations of the workload, drop policy, and then policy for class participation, late work. As far as I'm concerned, I do not like or want to accept late work. But I understand that things happen. So the way I have it set up is that after the assignment due date, which is available on the syllabus, on the schedule, excuse me, after the assignment due date is set and you don't turn it in, you miss that deadline, which, by the way, all the deadlines, unless stated otherwise, are at 11:59 p.m. of that specific date. So if you miss that deadline, you will lose 25% of your final grade until you hit 0. And then once you've hit 0, so that's about 3 days, 4 days, you can no longer turn in the assignment. It's just going to be a 0, or moving on, kind of thing. So always make sure to tell me ahead of time if something is going on. The points breakdown, I am grading this on a 1,000-point scale. So here you can sort of see how everything works out. I've done these calculations numerous times, but if you want to do it yourself and double check me, and let me know if like, hey, there's a problem, feel free to let me know. I'm not perfect, things could go wrong. And then these is how the points break down. And then plagiarism, don't do it. Unfortunately, CAPS is not open during the summer, so that is unfortunate, but that's also okay because you guys can have each other to rely on. And finally, UNM policies, there is no gender discrimination. Please be aware that if you tell me things such as sexual harassment, sexual assault, I am obligated to report those. So I want you to be cautious of the materials that you write for me, because for English 110, for those of you that may have never taken English 110 before, it is a class that's very much about yourself, very much writing about you and the things you'd like to do. So I just wanted to be aware of that. And then as you can see, we kind of go down the line. We have Project 1 memoir, so make sure to watch the video explaining that. We have discussion boards and quizzes for each chapter of the Writing Today textbook. So this is going to be your main click. The first thing you always want to click on when you first log in. Then over here we have announcements. There's nothing here yet, but I try to send out announcements each week at the beginning of the week, kind of letting you know about what's going on. Sometimes though I don't, so don't rely on those announcements. So make sure you're always checking in and looking at the schedule. Then assignments. So this is the assignment Dropbox, where you're going to drop off all your assignments on their due date. They're also available on each individual week, so there's that for you. Course materials. This is where you're going to get the textbook. Follow these links, and if you run into any problems, message me. And I can either direct you to the proper Revel people or the bookstore. But hopefully there should be no problems. There is a discussion board link here. However, I want you to be aware that each discussion board that's due for the specific week is available on the individual weeks. But if you want to at least, see what kind of discussion boards are coming up, that's fine. But please do not do them ahead of time. Do not do them ahead of time. Journals are also a thing that are going to be due. These are private. Only myself will be reading through these, so your classmates won't. I also have available the ability for you guys to see your grades. So as I grade things, you can see it. I'm going to try to grade things at each week. But again, things happen, so don't be upset if I can't turn things in at a quickly time, but no more than 2 weeks. Like I said, schedule is here, so when you click on it, you'll be led to this page here, which breaks down the schedule for each week. It seems like there's a lot to do, but And there is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like I said, this is 8-week crash course class. So I want you to make sure you are always on task. And finally, the syllabus again. And then down here, you also have assistance. So for example, you have university libraries, how to use Learn. If something's going on with Learn, you create a support ticket and someone from IT will help. Some frequently asked questions, some galleries that show student work from previous 110s. Several years down the line, we have permission from them to show their work. And this is just for you guys to see how English 110 assignments look like. We also have tutorial videos. So since this is an online class, we are going to be focusing heavily on multimodal. So you guys are going to be using a lot of things that you may not be familiar with, like Audacity, GarageBand, iMovie, Screencast-O-Matic, Jing, all these different things. And so I want to make sure you guys have these links here to help you through that. You also have accessibility and privacy. So this is for those of you that may have some concerns about privacy, especially since we are using sort of these like third-party sites, and you are very concerned about your privacy, you can look into their statements. Almost any video that you upload on here is only going to stay on here. So that's basically it. Then this sort of walks you through your online, and then some additional resources as well. When it comes to assignments that are multimodal, such as things that require you to upload a video, which are a few, one of the ways that I like to ensure that sort of that video gets posted without any problems, is to upload it through YouTube. And again, for those of you that have privacy concerns, you can set up each video to sort of have where people with the link are able to view it, but then others are not. So keep that in mind as well. And always do let me know. Reach out to me if you're someone who says, listen, I don't want, my name out there, information out there, things like that. Please let me know. And then finally, the biggest thing for the online class is going to be your portfolio. So this portfolio is essentially, it can be either on a Google site, on a Weebly, on any sort of free site that you find, and you're going to be posting a link into week 2, and then you're going to be uploading all of your assignments and all your reflections and statements on there. And as we go through the course, I'll be definitely talking more and more about that, because the portfolio is going to be the biggest thing that is graded in the class. So I want to make sure everybody has good portfolio set up, that they have materials that are well done, and that's what I'm here for. So again, if you have any questions, my name is Mary Beth Perdomo. Please call me Mary Beth. I have been doing this for about 2 years now, but I've only been teaching, so this is only my second time teaching, so I am also still kind of learning the ins and outs. So if you guys see some discrepancies with like due dates or with points, or you're not really sure, like, hey, I got points taken out for this, but I don't know what I did wrong because I thought I completed all the tasks, just email me and we can work through it. I am not opposed at all to work with you guys and talk with you guys, and I usually email back pretty quickly, excuse me. However, I will not email back, or at least it's going to be a very hit or miss email back after 8 p.m. So if you have questions, make sure to email me before 8 p.m. if you want to ensure that you get a response that day. And so, yeah. So if you guys have any questions, email me and let me know. We're going to have fun this summer. It's going to be really fast, but it's going to be great. All right. Take care, y'all. And yeah.